The day everything changed twice. I think it's better if you leave. My brother didn't raise his voice when he said it. He didn't need to. The words were sharp enough on their own. We were standing in the living room of the house we had both grown up in. The same house that still smelled faintly like our mother's cooking and our father's old books. The funeral had ended only 2 days earlier, and the quiet inside the walls felt heavier than grief itself. I thought we were going to talk about paperwork, about memories, about how to move forward without them. Instead, he folded his arms and looked at me like I was a guest who had overstayed. The house is in my name now, he continued. I've already spoken to a realtor about future plans. Future plans. The phrase landed strangely. Wait, I said calmly. We haven't even read the will yet. He gave a small, dismissive smile. There's nothing complicated about it. That was the moment I understood. This wasn't confusion. It was assumption. For years, my brother had been seen as the responsible one, the confident one, the decisive one. I had always been quieter, more reserved, the sibling who avoided arguments and let conversations pass instead of pushing back. And now, in the silence our parents had left behind, he believed that silence meant surrender. I just need a little time, I said, at least until everything is finalized. He shook his head. I think it's better for both of us if you start fresh somewhere else. Better for both of us. But his eyes said something different. Better for him. The room felt unfamiliar suddenly, like memory itself was being packed into boxes without my permission. I looked around. The staircase, the old clock, the corner where our father used to sit every evening. Every part of the house carried history. None of it seemed to matter anymore. Still, I didn't argue. Grief changes the way you react to conflict. When your emotional energy is already drained, shouting feels pointless. So I nodded once. Not in agreement, in acceptance of the moment. All right, I said quietly. He seemed almost relieved. Within hours, I packed what I could into 2 suitcases. Clothes, documents, a few photographs I found tucked inside a drawer. I didn't touch anything else. Not because I didn't care, because I did. And some things are harder to carry than boxes. When I stepped outside, the evening air felt colder than expected. I paused at the front door for just a second, not waiting for him to stop me, but allowing myself one final look at the place that had once been called home. The door closed behind me without hesitation. No goodbye, no second thought, just certainty, or what he believed was certainty. What my brother didn't know, what he couldn't know yet, was that the will reading was scheduled for the following morning. And our parents had always been very careful with details. The quiet before the truth. That night, I stayed at a small business hotel across town. It wasn't comfortable, but it was clean, quiet, and temporary. 3 things I needed more than anything else. Grief behaves differently when you're alone, without familiar walls or shared routines. Memories arrive in sharper detail. I kept thinking about the last conversation I'd had with our parents just weeks earlier. How normal it had felt, how ordinary their voices sounded. No warnings, no final speeches, just everyday life, ending without announcement. But alongside the grief, something else sat quietly in my mind. Clarity. My parents had never been careless people. They planned everything. Finances, documents, schedules. Even small decisions were written down and organized, which meant one thing. There was no chance they had forgotten to clarify the house. Still, I didn't let myself assume anything. Expectation has a way of turning into disappointment. So instead of overthinking, I focused on practical steps. I reviewed my work emails, confirmed I could extend my remote schedule for a few more days, and gathered every document I had brought with me, ID, family records, and old paperwork my mother once insisted I keep just in case. By morning, The emotional shock from the day before had settled into calm awareness. Not peace, but steadiness. The law office was located downtown, inside a quiet building with soft lighting and polished wooden floors. When I arrived, my brother was already there, scrolling through his phone. He looked confident, relaxed, certain. He gave a brief nod when he saw me, not cold, not warm, just polite, like we were distant relatives instead of siblings who had shared a lifetime under the same roof. "Morning," he said. "Morning." No mention of the house. No mention of yesterday. Silence can sometimes act like an unofficial agreement, pretending difficult moments didn't happen. A few minutes later, the attorney entered the room carrying a folder. He greeted us professionally and asked us to sit. As papers were arranged neatly across the desk, I noticed something familiar about the process: structured, careful, deliberate, exactly like our parents. The attorney began with formal language about estate procedures, timelines, and documentation. My brother leaned back slightly in his chair, arms folded again, the same posture from the living room the day before. Confident, prepared, certain nothing unexpected was coming. Then the attorney said something that subtly shifted the atmosphere. "Your parents updated their, 18 months ago." My brother's posture straightened slightly. I didn't react, but internally something clicked. Updated. That meant intentional. The attorney continued reading: financial accounts, personal assets, investments. Everything was divided clearly, fairly, and without emotional wording. Exactly how our parents handled important matters. Then he turned a page. "The family home," he said, pausing briefly. The room grew quieter. Even the soft hum of the air conditioning seemed to fade. My brother leaned forward. This was the part he had already decided, already acted on, already enforced. But the attorney wasn't finished, and our parents, as I had remembered the night before, had always been very careful with details. What came next wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud, but it was precise. And precision changes everything. I kept my expression calm, because for the first time since being asked to leave that house, I understood something important. The truth hadn't arrived yet, but it was about to. The line that changed everything. "The family home," the attorney continued, "is to remain jointly owned. However, residency rights are assigned to my daughter." My brother blinked. "What?" The attorney calmly slid the document forward. "Your parents specified that she may live in the home indefinitely. Any sale requires her written approval." Silence filled the room. Not dramatic, final. I didn't look at my brother right away. I simply absorbed the clarity my parents had left behind. When I finally stood, I spoke gently. "I'm not here to take anything." I said, "I'm just not leaving my home again."